Hey guys, it's Lemming Rush, and today we're going to be starting a new sort of series I'd like to call Path to Purple. So the whole goal of this series is going to be to look at amazing games that are played, and sort of talk about what went wrong, what went right, what you have to be careful for, etc. on specific maps, in specific tanks, with specific matchmaking scenarios. So basically it's going to be to teach you guys what it looks like when someone has a great game, and talk about what they did right and what they did wrong, so hopefully you can replicate that for yourself. So, to start off, we're on the map Ruinberg in Counter Battle. I'm playing in my T-54, and this is sort of my, quote, stat padding tank. It's just the type of tank that I play when my teams are bad. You know, everyone has those terrible teams, and you can see I've got 27 heat loaded. But the first thing I wanted to point out is I do carry AP on this tank, not because I'm poor and can't afford the heat. It's because literally heat is typically the worst shell. I just wanted to talk about that for a sec, because when you're against tier 8s, it's better to be shooting AP in most tanks rather than heat, because the heat will just get absorbed in the tier 8's tracks. So, yeah. Now that that's out of the way, what you want to do on North Spawn in Counter is typically you want to play the city, unless they're very medium. When I say city, I mean this town on the 0 line. Unless they're very, very medium heavy, where you think you're just going to be alone and get overrun, this sort of town works really well. Now, my favorite area to play is going to be this house here. You can see I've already gotten many shots off on people, things like that Pershing and stuff. So this house right here is very, very powerful because it gives you shots on a huge amount of this town. One thing you do need to be careful about, though, is artillery. Artillery will spawn at K1 and just pound the living crap out of you. So if there's more than 3 artillery, definitely don't play here. Right now, I'm just sort of staying hull down. Anyone who pokes these corners is going to be at a disadvantage to me. There's looks like that 4202 is poking, so I'm looking for a shot on him. And he does poke well. I actually thought he was behind that bush, so I took a blind shot there, and then he got spotted, so whatever. I already pulled the trigger before he got spotted. We're going to put a shot into him through the car there. He puts one into me, but I have 320 alpha, he has 240. I'm always going to win that trade. The Mutz pushes up, and you can see we've got pretty good shots on him. And it's at this point that I noticed the T-54, the IS-3, and the RU-251 to my side. Now, I just want to pause it here to highlight the fact that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, there's a PTA and an FV-422 on the other side of these buildings. In a situation like this, you want to sort of pick one direction and focus on clearing that direction. That way you can keep the majority of your tanks to your front. Right now we're surrounded, so we just can't point our front to everyone. I want to push the PTA if I get the chance, manage to track him. And I'm looking to my left to make sure the RU and the IS-3 haven't started putting shots into me. We're going to put a second shot into this PTA, trying to set him on fire. And right now it's just sort of me pushing up. One thing you really have to be careful about, though, when you're pushing up is TDs. TDs love to camp on the 0 line. So that's one of those lines that you just need to be aware of when you're pushing this, and you're going to watch me be really careful about that. The 4202 basically kills himself, and what I'm doing right now is I'm sideswiping off this building. That's going to give me cover from the PTA and any camping TDs. Right now I make a really risky poke. I don't think it's that big of a deal, though, because it's worth getting the kill, in my opinion. So we're up to 3 kills. Now I can turn around. The Mutz has started to run away, so I'm able to turn around and go after the IS-3 and the RU-251. And we're just going to push into them. In a situation like this, you really do want to focus down the lowest hit points. Keep in mind that people might be behind you. There's nothing, but the majority of their tanks have already been lit, so I don't really need to worry about that. But if you're ever crossing this road, you want to be careful for some autoloader or something that might try to YOLO you. Or camping TD. Like, you never know. A lot of times people will camp on the 0 line, and they'll be in an autoloader or some high alpha tank where it doesn't really require any skill. It just means one mistake, and they'll punish you for 1,000 hit points. So just be really, really careful about that. Right now, my plan is, because they're on cap, I want to go reset the cap, but I do notice this Ferdinand, put a shot into him, and I'm going to focus down this Mutz. One thing I just want to highlight, though, is when you're pushing into their base, you sort of want to come up the K line. You want to use these buildings here to help you put shots down this road and this road. That's sort of my plan until I remember this 5120. So I'm looking for shots on him. That's an auto bounce angle. I take the shot anyway. And one thing I'm sort of starting to notice right now is we're down to 3 AP shells. So looking for the 5120, this is another case of me preemptively firing. I thought he wasn't going to get lit, so I took the blind shot, and immediately after I shoot, he gets lit. We're just going to push into them right now. They're both one-shots, so it's very easy for me to finish them off. Take a snapshot at the Mutz and misses. he bounces though, which is pretty sweet. Alright, so what I want to do right now is I just want to quickly push into this 5120, and then what's going to happen is if I don't, their Jagdtiger, like, it's a 4v2 in the city, right? So if they're able to take advantage of their numbers and kill the SD1 and the IS3, it's going to be an even closer game right now. We're actually in the, not in the lead, well, we just tied it up, but at the time we weren't in the lead. Right now there's this Jagdtiger. I checked to see he was looking the other way. He actually turns. And at the time, I thought I had AP loaded, but it turns out I've already run out of AP. And so, very, very luckily, I shot the heat shell. I probably should have switched to heat for the Jagdtiger, but it doesn't really matter. The effect is the same. So right now I'm pushing up just to sort of increase that crossfire. You can see the ST1 and the IS3 are pushing up as well. Now these guys are surrounded. I'm just going to go for whoever I can at the moment. It's probably the Jagdtiger, he's got the most alpha. And at this time, I know I'm shooting heat, so I'm putting shots into the side of his mantlet right there, or whatever it is. I guess it's his upper casement. And yeah, T-92 manages to get the kill, and we get our 8th. And then I'm pretty sure the M46KR finishes the GWE. There we go. So that's basically it. That's how you play this map in a medium tank. You're not always going to want to go to the... I'll just increase my map size here. You're not always going to want to go to here. If your team is majority heavies and they're majority mediums, it's just suicide to go up here. But if it looks like you can win this flank, you really want to do so. As you can see, 8 kills, nearly 6k damage. Alrighty, so as you can see, that was a Mastery Badge, Radley Walters High Caliber, and a Top Gun. 2,300 XP, 87,000 credits. We managed to shoot a ton of people, holy crap. In the end, we did 5,722 damage, 8 kills, 1,550 base XP, and we made a profit on that. So I just wanted to highlight that even if you're in something like a T-54, you don't want to be always shooting heat, especially if you can avoid it. What happens is heat will get absorbed in the sides of tanks, especially Russian heavies. So if you get the chance, shoot AP. Obviously, I understand if it's a tier 10 or another tier 9, but definitely if you're shooting tier 8s or lower, you should never be shooting heat at them. So yeah. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye-bye.